battery control thingy. Hello. Oh, that's wrong. Ha 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 ha. I guess it wasn't wrong. It was just being silly. Here we are. Make sure my nice haircut gets into the video. Ooh, I had a new follower an hour ago. Thank you so much, Fleck and Adam, for those follows. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Who says that? I'm wondering. That's John Oliver. Haha, never mind. Okay. Anywho, hello, welcome to another Thursday and an episode of Oh Hello Adam. Just speak of the Atom, and they come and say hi. Hello, welcome in to every Thursday's episode of It's Good Enough to Eat. Doing dinner and dessert today. We had 2-point redeem buy-ins for 2 desserts from a local friend, but I'm holding off on one of them because we won't see him this weekend because out of town to do family stuff, and that'd be a little bit cruel to I don't know, you will have to say speak of the devil, so I was trying not to invoke that. So speak of the Atom. It's perfect. So I'm holding off on the S word brownies. I can say slutty. I don't know. Is that okay? The slutty brownies. Holding up on those till next week. Anyway, but we are going to make peach cobbler tonight because I have peaches and they're not going to last a week. Either from just getting too soft to use for cobbler even, or just because they will go in my face because peaches are delicious. Millions of peaches. Peaches for me. So anyway, welcome to the kitchen, and I hope you have a drink and a snack, and that you're ready to hang out and have fun. Have fun and maybe learn something. Just remember to, when in the kitchen, do as I say, not as I do, in case I start chopping in a very poorly skilled fashion. So let's get to it. I need wipes. I've been seeing people streaming, and they have like transitions, and it's all fancy. And I'm like, I need some transitions. But of course, we need to start off with our kombucha. Ooh, spicy. Spicy kombucha. And of course, wash your hands before you make any foods. Especially if you were planning on serving anyone else. I mean, wash your hands before you make your own food. Good habit and good health. But especially if you're serving other people. Okay. Dough first. First is dough, because dough needs to chill before we bake. I mean, 9, that's wrong. No. Anyway, okay. I was so confident and ready, and then I realized I had like no clean bowls. So I had to wash a bowl, and now I have to dry a bowl because we don't want any moisture getting into our biscuity cobbler dough that we don't put there. So anyway, I'm gonna start with. I have some flour. Start with flour. Anyway, in researching for this, I was looking at all these. I mean, I haven't made cobbler for a while. And I was looking at all sorts of recipes, and I saw some that were like a liquidy, almost like pancakey batter, and some that were more cakey battery. Batter-y, not battery. And I've always done my cobblers with like a more biscuit dough consistency. So it gets kind of that fluffy, a little bit slightly leavened texture. And actually, speaking of leavening, I'm going to put some baking powder in this because I do want it fluffy. And I was amazed at how many they have that thinner batter on the bottom, and then they drop all the peaches into it, and as it bakes, it kind of puffs up. But I like my layers. Oh, that's unfortunate. Um, if I can ask what area of the world you're in, I live in California, so we have lovely fresh summer produce right now. So I'm making everything like the last couple of weeks. It's been peaches and berries and cherries and everything lovely. Um, so it's been, I mean, I love it. It's way too hot for me to like be happy and be outside and running and things. Um, but lovely produce. Uh, Sugar. Canada. I was about to say, is it a little bit colder? It's a little bit colder climate up there in general, but of course this last weekend it's got a little bit wild. Had some very hot for Northern America, um, temperatures up there. What am I doing? This is 1 ounce of sugar. This is a couple of tablespoons into the dough. Yeah, not very much sugar in the dough itself, but we will taste our fruit and we'll put an appropriate amount of sugar into our. Well, the peaches are from, but they had to get shipped, and so I'm sure they were picked at not the peak of ripeness. It's nice that, I mean, we go to the farmer's market on Sundays, and so everything is local. It's just been picked that day usually. So we're pretty fortunate to have some good local farmers markets. Yes, Beach Cobbler. Welcome in, Taylor. Looks disgusting. What looks disgusting? I mean, all I have is some peaches and flour and sugar so far. So, oh, yeah. So I hope you're, well, I mean, there's no liquid in it yet. So it is still dry. I haven't gotten that far. I mean, it's literally my dry ingredients. Although I am going to add some of these cinnamon bits. I'm using some things out of my pantry because I happen for some stuff and I use them up. And so I will put a little bit of that in my dough. A spoon of baking powder. In there. I wouldn't eat it at this point either, honestly, because it's not done. And zest a lot. Right out of space. I really want to remodel my kitchen, so I have more space.
Take some shit off the counter.
Hmm?
Just take some stuff off the counter.
Okay. Now I'm going to add my butter, which is fresh out of the freezer, nice and cold, to help with our biscuit texture. I'm just going to slice it up and work it in by hand. Going nice and simple today, not using a bunch of tools. just our hands and a knife and an oven. Oh my goodness. I do not. My week has been fine. I am slightly miffed that I mean I can't be miffed because I'm back to full time at work, but that means I don't have tomorrow off, which is unfortunate. Um, but the week has been fine so far, and hopefully tomorrow will be nice and chill. I've got some
Amazon.
I know, right? I've got mostly tomorrow just to try to run down a bunch of other managers to get their sign-offs on some resources so I can finalize this project. They've been taking their time, which is fine. I mean, they've got other stuff to do, but I'm like, just review this thing and sign off so I can do my work. I do have a food processor and a blender, but I'm not using the food processor today. I just want to keep it nice and chill and get my hands in it. Mark's over here working on some pizza dough so we can have pizza for dinner tomorrow. Yes, I'm just squishing frozen butter and flour together in my fingers. It's got some sourdough pizza dough in there. It's putting it on to rise overnight.
Deal either. No.
Okay, that's coming together. I don't cook every night, but especially during quarantine, I've been cooking almost every night. Like, I do take help from the store on some days. Like, if I just started going back to the office one day a week, and so didn't feel like cooking that day. So
Cover some of
had some frozen in a bag Chinese food from Trader Joe's. But most nights I do cook. Of course, that means I have lots of dishes to do also.
Hey, you don't have to do laundry.
My husband's pointing out that I don't have to do laundry, but I wasn't doing laundry before, so it's really him that's saved out on that. I don't know if I've ever ordered Domino's pizza.
Not Mike's.
I've ordered like Mountain Mike's, and I've certainly gone to
Pizza Supreme.
used to go like Papa Murphy's to take and bake.
Pizza Supreme.
I went to Little Caesars as a kid, but most of those places aren't close enough to where I live now to deliver. We're outside of the delivery radius for most of those, except for Mountain Mike's. So that's why we go Mountain Mike's. As a kid, I liked Round Table the best. I just need to get a little bit of water, just enough to bring the dough together. Yeah, we don't order a lot of pizza anymore because, I mean, my husband's making it right now. But even when we don't, like, that's another, I have to take some help from Trader Joe's. They've got ready-made pizza dough. And so you just have to roll it out and top it. And that can be nice sometimes, especially if you're not feeling like spending 2 days to make pizza dough. There we go. So now we actually have a dough. Still crumbly, but that's fine. I don't want to get too much liquid in it. Also, I don't want to overwork it at this point because I want it to be not tough. I want it to be crumbly, flaky, rise on me. I'm going to put this in the fridge if I can find a spot.
Yeah, might be able to
If it doesn't have to be here very long. Just be nice.
Like, have a spot for pizza.
Half hour or so. Okay.
Oops.
Let's start
That one's good.
slicing some fruit. And I also had, so it was just going to be biscuit. So when I say biscuit, I'm referring to like an American, like Southern style biscuit. So it's like maybe similar to a scone. So it is like a risen bakery.
Amazon.
If you go past it,
Set an 11:15 p.m. reminder.
Oh, I'm worried about taking this keep this label off this mango because I've got to peel the whole thing anyway.
Amazon. Set 11:30 p.m. reminder to take out pizza dough.
Okay, I'll remind you at 11:30 p.m.
6 hours.
Kind of like an English muffin. It's just
Starting now.
I didn't say that.
it's cooked differently. Oh, Taylor, since you asked, I have a hard
I'm not sure
kombucha
about
over here. It's a pineapple chili ginger kombucha. But yeah, the English muffins are actually cooked in a skillet, and they're kind of like half fried in a little ring mold.
Lard.
In lard, says the
I made
husband.
those.
And they are
Delicious.
delicious but tricky to get the texture to turn out right, getting all those crannies and things in them. So the biscuit is, yeah, it's similar, but it's baked instead. Awesome. I actually had the thought that I might make some ice cream too. I've got milk.
You don't have any original milk.
Or no, I don't have milk. I'm out of milk. That's why I'm not.
You have a crap ton of stuff to make whipped cream.
But yeah, we'll probably just have it with thickened whipped cream because we don't have any. I bought a full half-gallon of cream, and I did buy milk, but he used it all up for his morning coffee.
The morning latte, cappuccino creams.
But welcome in, Big Ol' Ricky. How was your day? And Axel.
Thank you.
Taylor's quite enjoying your apron.
It's got even pockets. It's fancy. You should be
Yeah,
wearing
aprons with pockets. Very nice.
That's the best.
Anyway, like I was saying, it was going to be peach cobbler, but I've got a mango that was just sitting around doing nothing because I bought 2 mangoes and only ended up using 1. So I figured I'll just throw it in here.
His dog apron has pockets. Why aren't you wearing it?
Mark's over here telling me I should be wearing an apron too.
You got your dog apron on, buddy.
Yes, I know.
It's got
I
pockets.
have several aprons. I just don't have any on right now. Tomorrow off work. Yes, that's what I've been getting from a bunch of people. People either took the day off or they just had the day off. I have Monday off, so I'm excited for a 3-day weekend. It just won't start until Saturday. So I'll work tomorrow and have 3 days off. know, we usually care more about
You need a drink?
crushing.
You have a drink?
I do have drinks, thank you. So just get Mark his own microphone. So that it doesn't sound so strange when I'm just talking to the random voice off in the corner. Not get the tags off these ones. Yes, he's got every Friday off because he works 9-hour days. I am not able to do that because I'm a salaried employee, so I cannot work a 9-hour day such that I would get to take the Fridays off. Doesn't mean that I can take some shorter days if I do end up having to work overtime though. So it becomes more of a 40 hours rather than 8 hours a day thing. So some of these features are already getting soft, but they are just fine. I am not concerned because they are being baked anyway. So even if they are a little bit on the soft side, this is still a great use for them. And of course, the other thing you could do with nice soft peaches is make peach ice cream. Of course, now that I'm working with this fruit, I'm just imagining sangria. So now I have to find an excuse to make some sangria this weekend. Okay. Those are mango and our peaches done. And I'm just going to squeeze some lemon juice down over them. And feel free to use a juicer, especially if you've managed to nick your hand at all while you've been slicing or working in the yard or what have you. Or if you just want an easier time keeping the seeds out.
Hey, your audio might have got screwed up. I turned on the speaker out here and it connected to me.
Oh, turn off this one.
I did. Can people still hear you?
I think so. Mark turned on a speaker in the bathroom and apparently did something odd with my microphone, so if y'all can still hear me.
It sounds like you're using the wrong mic. Are you using the mic from the camera? Because that's what it sounds like.
I don't think
Because
so.
it's picking me up, see? You're using the wrong mic.
I'll check my mic in a minute, but I think I'm using my headset mic.
Because it wasn't picking up.
He's yelling over there, and he's just saying the
Picking
same
me up
thing
now.
over and over. So I will check in a minute. You don't need to keep yelling at me. Yes. I mean, honestly, so. Food tunes, shower tunes, bath tunes, brushing teeth tunes, trimming the beard tunes. He says it defaulted to the camera mic for some reason, so let me... It did. What's up with that? That's weird. How's that? That makes so much more sense, honestly. Because it is... it is actually doing what I was expecting. So I did mess it up earlier. I thought I had, I just wasn't sure. Goodness. Okay, so now that should be better. Oh goodness, I haven't even had much to drink yet. Hello, Teo. Welcome in. Happy Thursday. I've already made the dough. It's chilling in the fridge. I am preparing the fruit. I threw some mango in because I had mango and I needed something to do with it. So that's what I did. Oh, right. Now I'm going to throw some of these cinnamony bits in here too because those will melt down in and give it a nice little cinnamon pop. We've got our sugar, but I'm not going to do a full cup of sugar because these are nice, lovely, fresh, sweet peaches, so they do not need a full cup of sugar. Always taste your fruit, folks, because sometimes your recipes will say, add a butt ton of sugar, and it won't need it. But I'm also reducing the total amount of sugar because I want to put a little spoonful of honey in there just for that extra honey flavor. So if you're adding honey, make sure you account for that in your total sweetness level. And thank you for that resub, Teo. You don't need to do that. But of course I appreciate it. Ooh, that is strong honey. Also love using honey, not just for the flavor, but for the health benefits. If you use local honey, it's a little bit like natural allergy meds. Especially if you get it with the pollen in it. There's some timer that's done. I don't know what it's for. And cornstarch. Cornstarch will help thicken my filling, or my bottom layer. Let's keep that spoon. But if you use cornstarch and things, you have to make sure that your mixture fully boils, or else the cornstarch will not cook, and you'll have like raw. You won't get the thickness you're looking for, but two, you'll have like that raw corn flour taste, and you don't want that. Hi, Keelox. Welcome into the cozy cooking stream. How are you doing, friend? It has been a while. I've not been able to make as many morning streams because I've been having to go every once in a while to the office and also just do more work in general. It's been harder to lurk. How are you? I know it's getting late over there. You staying up today? Or I guess it's... Yeah. Do not miss out on sleep for me. I appreciate you checking in. Coming to say hey. I am mixing up my fruit filling for my cobbler. And I guess I can actually... Let's see. Oh, I can turn on the oven. Let's take the pizza steel out of there. Chill at work, enjoying the UK summer. Yes, I'm doing fine. It's been warm, but I'm hiding inside, of course. Looking forward to visiting a friend's place this weekend to get in the pool because I don't want to hide inside all weekend. And also because they have an adorable golden retriever, and I just want to go play with puppies. What am I doing? I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna go get that dough that I made. And I'm gonna take like a third of it and kind of spread it out. Well, I don't have a puppy to bring to the play date, so I guess it's just a puppy play date with me. Just gonna scatter some of this biscuity dough around the bottom. Actually, hold on. Hold on. Hold the phone. I'm silly. Don't forget to grease your pans, folks. Good thing I hadn't poured the peaches in yet. Don't mind me. I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. At least I play one on Twitch. Yes. Grease your pants so you can fit into them after eating cobbler. And grease your pans so you can scoop lovely pieces of cobbler out of it into a bowl. There we go. Much better. Grease everything. Maybe not everything. If it's supposed to move, grease it. If it's not supposed to move, duct tape it? I think that's a thing. It's the engineer's creed. Or the handyman's creed. Hi, Bob. Welcome in. How's your evening going? Oh, got squats already. First squats. We know Teo's here because the workout redeems are coming in. There's our lovely fruity mixture. Do not want to lose any of this lovely peach juice goodness because it's all tasty. And of course, it just now occurs to me that my mom used to take some of that peach juice and use that to mix into her dough for the topping to get some of that flavor running through. And of course, she always did that with like blackberry cobbler, so it stained the biscuit dough purple, which meant you were eating purple dough, which is not always the greatest. But I think for peaches it would be okay. I mean, it's not too much off from the color of my current dough. So I'm going to do the same thing I did on the bottom of the pan, but I'm going to use bigger chunks of the dough rather than scattering it around like a crumble. I'm going to, kind of like I was making biscuits, I'm throwing big ol' biscuit-sized portions on the top here. Everything sounds fun to Teo. And so I know some recipes will say like it'll be more like a batter, so it'll be even, or it'll say roll out the dough into a sheet and put that on top of it. That's just not how I do my cobbler. So if you like it that way, please do it that way. But I like my biscuits. I'll just set that over here. And then I'm going to start the Shakshouka. So Shakshouka is a North African dish. That's just like a tomato stew. Oh, and I still owe Teo 20 squats from the other day. erase everything. Okay. It's a North African origin tomato stew. Very hearty, and it's usually finished, or it's finished with poached eggs. So, if you like eggs and you want to eat eggs for dinner, it's really good. It's also a great use of more summer fruit because I've got lovely tomatoes from the farmer's market as well. But yeah, so you just take a nice lovely scoop of your tomatoey stew with a nice lovely poached egg that's poached right in the tomato sauce and serve it with bread. And I've got some avocados that I keep letting go bad, so I'm trying to make sure I use them this time. So I think I'll put some smushed up avocado on my toast for serving. And of course, Mark also doesn't like eggs, so I'm just giving him tomato stew with bread, which is also fine and delicious, but yeah, will not be a full true to the dish shakshuka. But it's going to have some lovely warm spices in it. If I had some hot peppers, I would use those, but I don't, so I'll use some cayenne instead. But pretty much I'm going to start with my mirepoix. And as soon as I finish chopping the celery, I'm going to get myself a longer knife because that'll be easier for everything else that I'm doing. And of course, now that I say mirepoix, I think of carrots, and I could get some carrots out too, but that's not usually in the dish as far as I know. Anyway, let's just bring this over here because I can throw all of my aromatics, that's a good word, in here to start cooking off after I itch my nose and wash my hands. And I do want to start my aromatics off in a cold pan. It is, for some reason that I don't exactly recall right now, it's better for the cooking of the onions especially. Okay, let's wash this knife. I had a bigger one. Oh, it's on the drying rack already. Silly me. So as my base, I'm going to do my onions, bell pepper, celery. And of course, I remembered to do it in the right order, so I'm not chopping my onions first before chopping peaches on the board. Because I have made that mistake before. And you do not want to serve people oniony peaches. It's a very important kitchen rule. So just want to chop down everything into nice little even pieces so it all cooks up at the same rate. And it is a pretty quick stew. It's not like a full simmer on the stove for multiple hours thing. Although you can put it in a slow cooker, or you can just let it simmer on the stove all day. It will certainly not make the dish bad. But I'm making it for dinner tonight, so I don't want to, or I just don't have the time to do an all-day kind of simmer. So we're just doing a nice quick version. Of course, remember when you're chopping
to make your claw. Make your claw here so you don't chop your fingers, because the knife hits your knuckles before it hits your fingers. Yes, the delicacy of onioned peaches. With a little bit of knuckle blood on them. It was kind of silly because I was making ceviche at the time, and I was putting pineapple in the ceviche, but then I had extra, and I was telling my niece, yeah, go ahead and have some of the pineapple. It's really good. And then she ate it, and she's like, the fuck is this? I'm sure she used less colorful language because she was maybe 5 or 6, but I certainly understood and felt very bad about it. Oh, right, hold on. I heard the oven beep, so I need to put my cobbler in. And set a timer of some sort. I hear Mark over there playing with his blood web. Using his free 500,000 blood points for the DVD anniversary. Knuckle blood is nutritious. Missed me earlier. Oh, yes. He was making pizza dough. Okay. Let's start this going, because I've got some farmer's market garlic that is small and it's going to take me a minute to peel. So let's get that going in the meantime. I got these lovely, it's delicious garlic, but it is a little bit of a pain to remove from its shell. I'm going to bring my, don't mind my compost bowl, folks. I'm just throwing my garlic paper in there. No worries. Have a great sleep, Kelox. Have a lovely day tomorrow, and I will see you next time. Thank you for stopping by. We did not grow this. We grew this. This actually came out of our yard. One of the very first things to both grow and survive the heat, because it has been wild over here. I don't think we hit records this time, but we were close. So next time, if I'm prepared for pizza, if I know it's happening ahead of time, I'm going to get some bacon and some pineapple and some jalapeno and make me some bacon and jalapeno and pineapple pizza. He must be playing against Huntress. I hear just humming over there. Of course, the plus side of these little tiny garlics is that once I do get them peeled, is that I do not really have to chop them. Just the process of peeling them is going to get them into small bits for me. Just the crushing. It's so fragrant. It's lovely. Although, of course, I wasn't thinking about it too much, but I am glad I did this in the right order also, because I would not have been wanting to make cobbler with garlicky hands. Did my music stop? My music stopped. And Mark is busy, so I can't call him in here to fix it. That music is not just there to fill the void, also prevents my headphones from default turning off. Almost there. One more clove. Then I can get that in the pan, stir it, and then wash my hands and fix my music. There we go. Don't need to worry about chopping it down too much, because it will start to break apart in the pan. There we go. Yes. Yes, Ricky. I completely agree. I mean, it's almost worth it. But sometimes when I'm really like not feeling it, I just want to go to the store and buy the jar of pre-peeled garlic just so I can not have to deal with it and not get my hands garlicky and all that. I have not quite done that yet. I have gotten the minced garlic in a tube, um, which is fun sometimes. But I always feel bad about those tubes too, because you often can't get like the last little bit out, and so I end up throwing away a bunch of garlic paste and feel bad about that. So hopefully these zucchini taste good, since they are the first garden produce of the year. I am somewhat excited. And I just lost half of it into the sink. Goodness. Come on. No, it's fine. It just fell in our peach bowl. It's also nice. It's a great dish if you, it also works great for breakfast, but it's also it's vegetarian, as long as you're not cooking it in bacon grease, which I definitely do sometimes. So if you're looking for a good vegetarian, like dinner party thing, it is a great vegetarian dish. It is delicious. You do not miss anything from not having meat in here. You don't need any meat substitutions, which I am personally against. If I'm going to have a vegetarian dish, I'm not going to put any meat substitutes in it. I just prefer not to. If you like them, go ahead and do it. Don't want to judge anything, but I just don't like them, so I don't do it. It's also a really great dish to cook and serve up, like taking it places, because you can prepare it in ramekins and just do all of what I'm doing now, get all the stew prepared, and just save the eggs for the end. And before serving, just heat it back up, throw it in the oven, crack the egg in on top of it, and just cook it for 5 to 7 minutes in the oven, and you've got little personal sized portions. So really good for sharing, really good for taking somewhere, and also just a really delicious dish in general. Okay, paying attention to it now so I can turn the heat up a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit more fat to the pan. And the butter isn't exactly traditional, but I do like that flavor. I do like the mix of the flavored olive oil and that butter flavor. Still have a bunch of leftover egg yolks from last week's stream that I need to figure out something to do with before they go bad. Because last time I did that, they sat in my fridge for like 2 months, and they did go bad, and I had to throw them out. Like, it's always great to save your egg yolks when you're only using the whites for something. But do remember to use them. Oh, you know what? Never mind. I'm using them tomorrow anyway, because I have to make pastry cream, which is fun and exciting and terrifying proposition. It's one of those things that's easy to screw up because it's a custard, and so you can, of course, if you're not being careful, scramble your eggs in it, and you don't want scrambled eggs in custard. It's exactly the opposite of what you're going for. And then you have to make sure to cook it long enough that it gets thick enough, mostly so it doesn't run out everywhere, but that also helps it not like dampen your dough or your cooked dough too much. Because I was supposed to make churros, but dealing with the oil is a pain. And I don't have a deep fryer, and I'm not using tons of oil like that all the time, so I'd have to like then get the oil out and pour it into things and dispose of it properly and all that. It's just a pain. So instead, I'm just gonna make eclairs, which is the same dough. Churros. Well, I didn't know this until the first time I made churros. Back when I had you can actually do them in the air fryer also. It's just a little trickier. You got to do the freezing trick to get them really into it, since you're not cutting them straight off into hot oil. So it takes a little bit more effort. But when I made those the first time, I'm like, I'm just making choux pastry. This is the exact same as eclairs. So instead of worrying about doing it that way, I'm just going to make eclairs. And hopefully, fingers crossed, it turns out all right. And then I'll make cinnamon pastry cream to go with it. So instead of doing the cinnamon sugar coating, I will do the cinnamon pastry cream. Okay, so my aromatics are nice and soft. I can throw in my zucchini. Then I can start chopping up tomatoes. Guess which one came out of the garden? The small one. Oop. And, of course, a little bit more salt because I just added a bunch of zucchini, which is unseasoned and needs its own layer of seasoning. Season every layer when you're cooking, folks. You can't just season at the end. You really want each stage of cooking to have seasoning. So if you know there's supposed to be a teaspoon of salt in the whole thing, just portion that out through each stage of like adding an ingredient, and then you'll have nicely seasoned entire dish instead of seasoned aromatics and then bland zucchini and tomatoes. I'm just gonna roughly chop these. Try not to lose any. And of course, I'm not worrying about the peel or anything, but if you're not a fan, because we're not pureeing this, so if you're not a fan of the peel, you can of course dunk them briefly in boiling water. Mark is over here opening his mouth asking for just wants a bite of tomato. Silly goose. But if you don't like the tomato skin, I will show you briefly how to deal with that. So if you don't like tomato skin, just make a little X in the bottom and then dunk it in boiling water for a few seconds and pull it out, and then you should be able to pull the skin right off. Hello, Cole. How are you doing? Welcome in. I hope your Thursday was great and that you have a lovely long weekend coming up. I am, of course, excited for my long weekend, although if you're not in the US, you probably don't have a long weekend coming up. Although I kept hearing from people that today was Canada Day, so if you're in Canada and you had today off, then happy Canada Day to you. Okay, let's turn this down so I don't burn anything. And of course you can put whatever vegetables you like in the shakshuka. If you want to be traditional, just stick to the onion, bell pepper, and then tomatoes, and garlic. But I just have some other produce that I'm sticking in and just making my traditional, like, kind of thick vegetables too. Long day, but you're good so far. And that's yay! I'm excited. I am glad that you have a long weekend at least. Hopefully it's restful. Oh, I forgot I just had some leftover red onion sitting over here that I meant to throw in. Whoops. It's alright. Luckily it's red onion and does not need so much cooking as the yellow onions do. So I'll just throw that in later. I'm totally on top of things. Oh, I was gonna put some allspice in the biscuit dough and I forgot to. Oh well. I had it sitting there. It was all ready. And I didn't do it. Oh well. I blame Teo. He distracted me. He came in and made me do squats. I just want to give enough high heat time to these zucchini to start getting soft, but I don't want them to go completely mushy. But these do have a tendency to fly out of the pan, apparently. Thick skin is what I was going to say, so I do want them to cook long enough to get that skin not chewy. Okay, let's... Never peeled your tomatoes, Deo. You can actually peel peaches the same way, or other stone fruits, if you are doing something in which you want them not to have skin. And of course, this works great with canned tomatoes as well. If you have like little bits of pasta sauce lying around, you can also just throw that in. It'll give it some extra depth of flavor because that tomato has been cooked for much longer than this has, and I might actually go get some tomato paste out of the pantry and add that just for that extra little cheat. I wouldn't worry about it too much if I was going to be cooking this all day, but since I'm not, I might do that little extra step. And I also might grab just a small can of tomatoes just because I want mostly some extra tomato juice to really make it nice and stewy. So let me not fix my music, and then of course what I said was my headphones were going to turn off. There we go. That's better. Back to chill lo-fi beats. So I am getting some juice out of those as they start to cook down. And of course, don't forget, do that extra seasoning, because I just added a bunch of raw plain tomato. And I'll actually add the rest of my flavoring seasonings. So, healthy amount of black pepper. Got some oregano. There's still a little left. Just use the rest of that container. And then I've got cumin, red pepper, and paprika. But again, if you have spicy peppers, like if you have some Anaheims or jalapenos or serranos or anything that gives you your spice that you prefer, go ahead and use those fresh chilies instead. I don't have any right now. I had one that I used the other day from the garden, but I don't have any else, so I'm using you can also use red chili flakes, of course, whatever your preferred spice is, and of course, put it to your level. Thank you, Pete. Welcome in, Pete. These are, they're actually swim trunks, but I didn't have any clean shorts around right now, so I'm wearing them. But yeah, when they get dark, you can really when they get wet, the dinosaurs really pop out, which is fun. Oh, I don't know how I'm gonna toast. I was gonna serve this with toast, but we have pizza dough proofing in the toaster oven, so I don't know how I'm gonna make toast. Okay, I am gonna get. I hope I have a can of tomatoes. I'm gonna get a can of tomatoes for this because I want it saucier. Because I want something to dip my toast in. And that's tomato paste. Do I have tomatoes? I might not even have any. Oh, yeah, that's also tomato paste. I have plenty of tomato paste. So much tomato paste. Guess I could also just add some vegetable stock in there. That would work. If I had vegetable stock, all I'm finding is chicken stock in here. Ooh, harissa paste. Actually, harissa paste would have been really nice as my spicy element in here. I don't know why I didn't use that. I suppose I can do that, do it under the broiler, but I will probably burn it and have to make it twice. I know myself, I will forget something and get distracted and have to remake my toast. But it's percolating over here. Okay. Other option is, do I have a partial jar of pasta sauce? Does not look like it. I think I actually used that trick the other day. So I don't have that extra pasta sauce action. So let's make do. And I suppose I could just use water, right? I guess that's a thing. That's a liquid. And I am throwing tomato paste in, so that'll be my tomato concentrate. Okay, I'll just use water. Fine, you convinced me. I'll use water. But I wouldn't want to use water if I wasn't adding the tomato paste. And I probably really only need half of this can. But if I try to save the other half, I'm sure it'll just go bad in the fridge anyway. So might as well use it all. Okay. And put away your can openers, folks, because you don't want to forget what you did with them. There we go. That's breaking down a little bit more. Okay. Okay, let's slice some bread. Got some lovely bread made by the husband as well. It's nice and crusty and perfect for dipping into sauce. I think I'll cut them in half. And since I'm doing them under the broiler, I think I'm going to put some olive oil on them. That was too much. Too much! That was 2 breads worth of oil. Good thing I had 2 breads. Oop. Again, too much. Too much. Good thing I need to oil my cutting board anyway. Just use olive oil, right? feel like there's lots more hand washing involved with cooking, since I keep getting my hands like covered in juices. Think I will be safest putting the bread in when I put the shakshuka in the oven to finish. So, let me go ahead and get my eggs ready. I do want to create little pockets for my egg. And then cracking them into some bowls will help me get them into the sauce without breaking them. So I'm going for poached egg, not scrambled egg. Okay. Let's move this. Oop. My cobbler is looking pretty good. It's coming along. Of course, now that I move that rack down, I don't have another. Okay, I gotta move the bottom rack to the very tippy top, so I have a place to put my breads. Okay, it's the plan. It's happening. We're gonna make it work, Pete. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Oh, and I can also get out the last little accoutrements for the shakshuka. Although I think all of my cilantro is past its prime, so maybe we just leave that off. But I do have some feta cheese somewhere in here. There we go. Just gonna crumble that on at the end, and let's see if any of this cilantro is worth saving. No, it was too high. It was too high in the fridge and it got frozen. So we just won't have fresh herbs on top. That's fine. We'll make do. It's alright. It'll make good compost. This kitchen needs to be remodeled ASAP. Not least of which is because water gets stuck behind the sink in between this counter and the bottom counter and is difficult to clean. Annoying. Okay, so I'm gonna take the top off. Nice and saucy. I'm turning the heat off too, and this is going to go into the oven. I'm going to wait just a minute so that I can pull it out at the same time as the cobbler, because that'll look like it was intentional. Okay. So I'm just going to make, and I need to leave half of this unsullied with egg so that Mark will eat it. I'm just going to make a little well over here. Dump my egg in. Do another little well on this side. And then I can transfer that whole thing into the oven. Actually, let me season my eggs. Salt and peps. Hi, spoiler. This is not quite right. Can do the rest of those squats that I owe Teo. 20 from the last stream, because he had to leave early. Dang it, Teo. There's the 30. Still just trying to take some time, because I don't think the bread needs to be in there for 10 minutes. 7 is sounding about right. I can smush up some avocado, though. Make sure you save the half that you're not using with the pit still in it. That'll help the whole thing, keep the whole thing from oxidizing. And I'm just going to smush this on my toast once it's toasted. I don't need to do a whole lot to it. It's not like I'm making full-on guacamole. Just a little salt. Okay, let's get some bread in here. There we go. And now we're good until the timer, I think. I have no towels. I'm out of towels. Had to steal a towel from the other room. Okay. So we've got 6 minutes until dinner, right? Any thoughts, comments, questions while we wait for that? I'm not doing anything else there, so. Oof. Why did I bake things? No questions. Bob asked me a question. Please ask a question. I just put it in, Pete. I figured 7 minutes was okay. It's not broiling, it's just in the oven with everything else. But I did just stick it in there. And hopefully it'll be on the same timer as everything else. I did just start rolling up a character, Bob. Jason, one of your guest players, is running kind of a quick game, or a few session game for some local friends. And so I've got to figure out how to make a 15th level character, which is always fun. Because, you just got to keep track of all the stuff. There's a lot of stuff, and it doesn't necessarily grow organically. Like, definitely most characters I play do not end up with the same vision that I might have had when I created them. They definitely grow and change and end up with weird choices down the line. So I'm kind of conflicted with starting just a level 15 character to play for 3 sessions, whether or not to optimize him for best playing, or to really lean into, here's my character concept and I'm gonna choose all the abilities that reflect that from the beginning. And of course I chose an Unearthed Arcana class for it that will probably get me in trouble with the townsfolk. But that's kind of what I was going for. Somewhat a little bit of a redemption story, but I was building in lots of reasons for them to hate me in the first place. A local character. So, I don't know if Meetup is still a thing. You could look at the Pathfinder Society website and see if there is a local place that does games, or if your character's on Roll20, there is a character database that you can, or a player database, and I think there are posts of groups that are looking for players if you wanted to try that. I don't know, it is much more fun to play with people that you know and you have camaraderie with, and you're not trying to force it. I did play in a few online forum games that Giant the Playground forums had a lot of play-by-post games, and I was in one that just wrapped up after near to 10 years. And it's a little sad because I've been playing that character for many, many, many years. But too, I'm just he's run its course. It's done. So I've been running into that thought process from DMs is, do you try to build a big world to run a full campaign? Are you going to run your players 1 to 20? Is it going to last for 2-3 years depending on how quickly you go? And it's hard to find people that can put in that time commitment, and it's fun and you enjoy hanging out with your friends, but you also have to make sure that you're able to do it on a regular basis, or else it falls apart. So, a couple of GMs that I've talked to recently have just really wanted to focus in on doing a like 4 to 6 session game, so they can have one story and play through all the stuff involved with that, and then wrap it up, and not feel like they have to commit to these characters for like a year or two of their real lives. Because this character that you're playing might only be experiencing a couple months, but as people playing the game, highlights, thank you, lights. I mean, it can be a multi-year commitment. Like, there were games that I played in college that it was every Friday night, and we played for 2 years. So, just depends on the level of commitment and what your thoughts are on playing with maybe strangers. But yeah, be good to find a local group of friends. Teo is super excited to be playing in this game that I'm coming up with, so I'm sure he's just chanting. Yeah, he's excited. He's gotta curb it a little bit because the game's not starting for a couple of months until I'm adequately prepared. But I am trying to like come up with a time frame for this game, because I want to be able to say, oh, you can just commit for 6 months. You don't have to spend the next 2 years of your life. Joey. Okay. Clear off. Open door. I'm going to let my eggs go a little bit longer because they are still a little bit jiggly. But we have Cobbler. Woo! I'll tell you, it smells super good. You can see the goo bubbling. You always want bubbly goo, because that means our cornstarch is cooked. We are not going to taste raw cornstarch. And I'm going to have to let this cool down before eating it, because it is very warm right now. That'll just cool there. It'll be ready for dinner. I could pull those toasts out and grab some tongs for that. I'm always like really cautious of poached eggs and always sure that they're going to be underdone, and then I let them go too long and then they're overdone, and it's always sad. I'm not good at poaching eggs. There we go. But even just that, like 30 seconds more, just solidified, firmed up my yolks, or the whites, enough, I think. And our oven's already off. And there is our Shakshouka. We've got our 2 eggs on the one side and the whole other half of the pan unsullied with egg for the person in the house that doesn't like eggs. And we've got our toast. Let me dish up a bowl of it, because I can actually do that. Let's get a bowl. No, that's too big. Too big of a bowl. I'm just going to use one of these. So, get a scoop or 2 of sauce. Scoop up our egg. Put it right on top. Crumble up some feta. And smush some avocado on our toast. And let me go back to the other camera. Teo's gonna have an entire family. He's gonna have a backstory. He's just gonna write a book by the time we get here. Leveled up in 5e. We always love level up days. But here, it's my lovely, kind of Americanized Shakshouka. I did not overcook my eggs. It's still a little bit of jiggle. That's exactly what we want. Ooh, fun. Yay, key points. And I added those smushed avocado to my toast because I didn't have cilantro and I wanted something green. So there we go. 2 complete dishes. Right to here. I am going to dish up Marks and give him some toast, and we're going to sit down to dinner. Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out in the kitchen with me. Let's find someone to raid. I think, let's see. Who is playing? Who haven't we raided? In a minute. Let's go see Polly, because I didn't have a chance to say hi to Polly earlier. And we had fun playing some community Knockout City with Polly. He is playing. My stupid keyboard is double typing letters, so let's check that before I press enter. There we go. Let's go show Polly and his people some raid love. Thank you for being here. I'm going to eat dinner. I hope you learned something. I hope you're going to try some Shakshouka because it is really delicious. It's a great vegetarian dish, and it's great for a crowd, great for just a couple people. And send me the pictures when you do, because I'm sure it'll be good enough to eat. Till next time.